Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of the Watercooler Edit with mybayut, hosted by myself Eman, and I'm joined by Richard.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm surviving summer.
Yep, that is sadly the harsh reality since it is summer in Dubai. But on today's episode, we actually have something really special to share with all of you today. We are going to be talking about Bayut's newest product, which is aimed to actually revolutionize the property estimation industry for the real estate market. So Richard, do you know what product we are going to be talking about today?
If I don't, I'm in trouble, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
But I do know. So, I believe it's called TruEstimate.
Yes, we're going to be talking about TruEstimate today, everything you need to know, how to best utilize it, and what the benefits are. So stay tuned. So as we said in the introduction, we are going to be talking about TruEstimate today. So I think we can kind of go into what it is. So this is something that has recently been launched by Bayut. It's available for both end users and real estate agents to utilize. And essentially it's a tool to help you get educated about the market. So following the launch of the Buy transactions, where you can actually get proper transaction data on price on units that have been rented and sold, this kind of takes it one step further with TruEstimate.
Yeah, I think it's, well, we've spoken about the Dubai transactions previously, which is just such an insightful tool. And it's, as you say, this is taking it on a step further. I think, again, the fact that the data, it's an AI
Powered algorithm.
which is fantastic. But also it's the DLD data that's being sourced, which adds that kind of potential accuracy, which I think is really kind of unrivaled, you know?
Yep, agreed. It's the first ever solution in the region that is basically set to revolutionize property estimation. So like Richard said, it does take in fact the data from DLD, but it also takes in data from the market, from Bayut's own portal, just to give you a more holistic and comprehensive understanding of what properties are being advertised for, what they're being transacted for, what they are going for both for rent and for sale, and just to give you a comprehensive analysis of what they actually would be priced at in the market if you're looking to buy or sell.
Yeah.
So essentially this is mainly for investors or for people who want to learn more about the market. So one of the cool things that I went on and I was like checking different reports to understand how it differs for apartments and for villas and things like that. So essentially the way that you want to get started with TruEstimate is that you can log on to it on the Bayut homepage, and all you have to do is enter one of four details that will actually generate it for you.
Okay.
So for example, you can enter your DIWA number, so that's the DIWA premise number that you have. You can enter your title deed, you can enter the Okud, or you could enter the actual unit number. So you go in, you search by whatever location it is.
You don't have to enter all four of those, you could just enter one.
Yep,
Yeah.
you could just enter one.
Cool.
And then you go in, and after that, it actually asks you to confirm all of your details. So like what the square footage is, how many bedrooms there are, if it's been upgraded, things like that.
I believe, is it that basically the more of those fields that you enter, potentially the more accurate the report?
Because you're supplying it with more data, right? You're supplying it with as much data as it can to properly go in and actually make the analysis for you.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what they've put together. And once you fill all of that in, you can then fill in your details and you can receive it via an email. So you'll get an email with your actual TruEstimate report. And the best thing about this is that you get it as a link, so you can share it with other people as well. You can download
like as a PDF or whatever, you can share it as on WhatsApp as well. Yeah. Nice.
So you get to download it as a PDF as well. You get to share it with other people. There are a lot of things that you can do with that report, and they've made it super easy to share.
That's good. That's cool. So can I ask you, like, what is in that report? What would it, if I put in my property that I'm currently renting, or any property, and I enter one of the details and as many details of the property itself, what will I find out from that report?
So essentially what it's going to be telling you is that it's going to showcase what the estimated value is, the true estimate value, and it's going to give you a confidence rating of how confident it is of that value.
Okay.
Additionally, you're also going to be getting information on what it would be renting for. You'd get information, if it's available, of what service charges are associated with that unit. And you'd also get information of what the total cost to buy is. So for example, obviously there is the actual price of buying a property, but then if you were to work with an agency, if you had to register as a trustee, the DLD fees that you have to basically submit, what the potential mortgage fees would be, all of that is kind of detailed as a breakdown, just to give you an understanding of, okay, fine, this is also potentially the costs that are incurred to buy this property.
That's really cool. So basically, because what you're looking at, we can all see the valuation of you see the valuation, that's brilliant. So potentially that's the amount you would be paying for the property. But to be able to have a more holistic view of potentially what it would cost in its entirety with all the other factors that come in, let's be honest, it's useful information.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
And you get an understanding of what the price per square foot is, what the rental yield is going to be. All of that kind of information is detailed to help you understand, okay, this is literally everything I need to know about this property.
Wow. Yeah. And it has some historical data as well,
yes.
Isn't it?
So then that's the second part of the report. So as you scroll down, it's actually going to showcase what similar properties have been advertised for on Bayut, for both rent and for sale, just to give you some perspective of, okay, if I were to buy this property, these are all of the similar sort of units that have been advertised. And then also if I were to rent it out, these are the kind of rates that I could look at. And then additionally, it takes it another step further and gives you transaction data as well. So the exact same information as you were getting for advertised properties, but this is actual transactions happening for that specific kind of unit layout in that area. So you'd actually get similar properties sold, similar properties rented. You'd get all of that information there.
Yeah, wow. So, and I believe it sources information from our Dubai transactions feature,
yes.
doesn't it, as well?
So essentially, it uses a similar sort of algorithm. So in addition to all of this information, you actually get to understand how this property has performed over 6 months. If there's been an increase in price, if there's been a decrease in price, all of that kind of information, what you're actually going to be paying per square foot. So for example, if you're buying a property for say maybe 2 million and it's 1,000 square foot, then maybe it's about 200, per square foot. That's essentially what you're paying, 2,000, sorry. It gives you that kind of information to help properly educate you to make the best decision possible. So for example, if you also want to see the history of the property, so for example, you're buying something that's secondhand, right? You can see when exactly it was purchased. If it was purchased multiple times, what was the sort of price? And then you can kind of make up your own trend. Secondly, if it was rented, you can actually see when it was rented and for how much. So if you want to get an understanding of, okay, fine, how much did this property rent for in say 2018? Or how much was it sold for if it was bought in 2020?
Like you say, sorry to interrupt, you can see the trends, can't you?
Yes,
you can
exactly.
see the trends and see how it's fluctuated over the years, when it was maybe initially purchased, how much it was initially purchased for, and you can compare that to the valuation that you received for it now. I mean, it's like it's a treasure trove of information, isn't it? Really?
Exactly. That's the thing. So it helps you learn the true market value of your property whenever you're checking it.
Yeah.
So that's the element of, I think, if you are able to generate a report. So for example, there are some instances where there will not be enough data points and you won't actually be able to get a true estimate report. And in that case, then the tool, it informs you. Another thing that people do need to keep in mind is that when you are filling this out, you do also have to enter your details to receive it via email. This is just another layer of authentication just to understand of who is interested in this kind of information. So for me personally, I've used it as an end user. I think this is also really great for a lot of real estate agents.
I was about to ask you that actually, because obviously we look from just a B2C perspective, but also a B2B perspective, and how real estate agents would utilise this tool. I mean, I can think of a few ways myself, but no, go ahead.
So for them, it's really good because it puts all of this information in one specific report, right? It basically details all of that information of similar properties, rental yield, price per square foot, all of that information within one thing. So first, they can use it to get an understanding of the market, take a look at exactly when specific units nearby were sold or were rented, and also they can use it to educate their clients. They can actually share this report for them. They can do that heavy lifting, create the report for them, share it with their clients and say, okay, this is actually what the estimated price is. This is all of the data that you need to make your decision of if you want to, maybe rent, buy, sell, invest, etc.
Yeah, that's, to be honest, that's really, really good, especially considering to get this information, they can get it so quickly. It's not like you've got to go
Yeah, it's not
hunting
like,
through the archives.
yeah.
Like literally, you enter, you get the report, and that's it. And it's obviously from a professionalism point of view to be able to share that with clients. It shows a value of investment of time.
Yep, and commitment.
And improves knowledge.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's one of the key elements that we have for all of these products that we launch, right? We want to basically give people as much information and data as possible, to empower them, to educate them, to help them make the most informed decision possible so that they can find their dream home and their real home faster.
Yep, and I think this is very much a step in the right direction when that's concerned. I think if you, as we said, you can access it through Bayut's homepage.
Yes.
It's accessed on a number of places on the page, but I would say to people about having a look within the market intelligence tab, where this is, along with a number of our other products and tools and features, including Dubai transactions and stuff. But we're building up a kind of library of resources there that a kind of a real change, a generational change to the amount of information and that you can find out about the property market here and the real estate and individual properties, not generalizations, individual properties, you know.
And I think it also stems from what you said, right? For example, in the past, you maybe had to get in touch with a specialist, or maybe you have to get in touch with a valuation provider service, or someone very specific who could actually get you that data, and it would take a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort.
Yep.
You may or may not hear back, you may or may not get the results that you wanted, but one, this is free to use. It is super quick. You literally fill out the details. You get the results in your inbox within 2 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, we did one.
we did one just before this episode.
Literally before the episode, and it took you are actually quite quick on the quicker. It would have taken me a bit longer, but still, in general, we had it within a minute, right?
Yeah, we had it within a minute, and we were actually going through the report and understanding like all of the different requirements that it had listed.
Yeah, we were snooping.
Yeah.
No, we were. we were researching, is what we were doing. So yeah, look, what a fantastic tool. It's there for people to use now, and I would very much advise people checking it out. And as I say, just to repeat myself, that market intelligence tab, there's just so much stuff in there, good stuff in there. If you're thinking about entering, I think a lot of people at the moment are considering buying. I think we've spoken about this previously because of the rental situation, the high rents and stuff. Like way more people are considering taking that step onto the property ladder. And if you're going to do that, it's such a seismic decision, right?
You want to make sure you have as much information as possible.
Completely.
Like you have all of the tools that you need to make that decision. And I think that's really interesting because, one, Dubai has been one of the world leaders, especially in the Middle East region when it comes to real estate, right? It was recently named the 15th most expensive city to live in the world. All right. So, and with real estate being such a...
What was number one? Can you remember?
Hong Kong.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hong Kong has been the most expensive city in the world for quite a few years now. Second was Singapore. And then there were 3 cities in Switzerland that topped out the top 5.
So Geneva, Zurich maybe.
And Basel.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Hong Kong, never been, but like to go. But obviously, if it's the most expensive city in the world, I'll be going for a visit as opposed to living.
Living there, yeah. But Dubai is the 15th most expensive city in the world. Its real estate industry is honestly, I think it's even beyond booming at this point. It's just unparalleled. And like you said, with so many people looking to make that sort of jump, and especially if you're a first-time buyer, this is a massive decision that you're making. It's your home that you're actually going to purchase. Or if it's an investment, then it's taken in from that perspective, right? So you really need to make sure that you take all of the necessary precautions, you make sure you educate yourself, you empower yourself with all of the knowledge that is available. And with tools like this, it makes it really easy and transparent for you to understand how you actually want to go about this process. And it helps you build trust as well, because the more knowledge you have, the more information you're going to be able to take forward into that decision.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm someone that I'm a bit of a research freak, actually, to be honest. When I anything that I get vaguely interested in, I research. But especially when you're talking about the kind of cash we're talking about here, if you're thinking about getting a property, even if you're thinking about buying it to rent it, right? You want to know potentially how much you can make from the rent, etc. And to have the ability, I'd just say, comprise all these research tools, comprise and just build up your knowledge base. There's no 100% guarantee with things, but you can lessen the risk factor by sourcing yourself with knowledge, really, you know. And I think it's very much is on that path, let's say that.
So if you're interested in any of this information, we definitely do recommend you take a look at TruEstimate, you check it out, you test it out for yourself, and share with us what your feedback is, how it was using the tool. Reach out to us on social media, reach out to our support team as well if you have any questions. And that brings us to a wrap for this episode.
And that is TruEstimate.
Yes, that is. So we hope you actually got to learn more about TruEstimate, all of the sort of tools that it actually empowers you with, all of the information that it has. And like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please do reach out to us. And we will catch you in the next